Welcome back guys to another video of women hitting
the wall. No man on earth can make it fall.
Your standards are too high. Well, those standards protect me from low quality experiences, and that's why I'm not afraid to say no.
I believe I could fly.
Nope.
People are like, Brittany, you're gonna hit the wall. You're going to be ugly. And it's like, joke's on you. I already was ugly growing up, so I already know what it's like to be ugly and undesirable. Thank you.
It got worse, but I feel like it's about to get worse.
We need to stop crying over boys who only saw 4 nail designs.
Just in case anyone was wondering if they should download online
I hate it when they start just in case somebody was wondering. Nobody was wondering.
dating apps tonight, save yourself the trouble, because my face has just been like this constantly because of what's been on offer.
I want to hear about your first date fails. I'll go first. I walk up to a bar where the guy I'm meeting is waiting outside for me, and before I even say hi, I had to wipe this idiot's nose off. I figured, I just drove 35 minutes for this bullshit. I need a drink or two.
No ma'am, you need to stop swearing. You can see how masculine she is just by the way she acts and by the way she talks, guys.
Hopefully I can bear sitting through chugging 1 or 2 drinks, and that is what I did very quickly. Then I went to go smoke a cigarette. That was going to be my out, but the guy just wanted to be such a gentleman that he came outside with me. And I was like, ooh. So when I was done, I just turned around and walked away. And he screams, really? And I turned around with a big ass smile and I was like, really? Dating is so much fun.
So she wonders why is she meeting guys like that when she is a single mother, and she also said this.
My son, who just turned 9 a few days ago, just...
Why do men have this irrational fear that women are going to use them for money that they don't have? Like, sir, you have lawn chairs in your living room.
Ma'am, it doesn't matter. Even if that guy has little money, he doesn't want to lose it to a woman. It doesn't matter the amount.
You are safe.
Okay, so this week I have been having my kiddos write down their Christmas list. And today one of them looks at me and said, Miss Ashley, what do you want for Christmas? And me and my joking self, and plus I just finished watching Game of Thrones. So I was like, I think I want a dragon so I can fly me around, wherever I want to go when I want to travel. And he was like, Miss Ashley, this is serious. Be realistic. So I was like, okay, I want a boyfriend. Can you get me one of those?
Nope.
And he goes, what do you want to name your dragon?
Thank you, come again.
Here's a little bit of dating advice. Ladies, you need to be paying more attention to his acorns. Those saggy little apricots, those hanging beans, those family jewels. Pay more attention to them and you will not regret it. Trust me.
Trust me, daddy.
Trust me, daddy.
Went on my second first date of 2023, and it wasn't a bad date, but it wasn't great. In order to keep me in the dating game, every time I go on a first date, and it's not fantastic, I buy myself a gift. Bought myself some new candles.
So as you can see guys, if you're not fantastic, you won't go on a second date with her. That's why she's still alone and still going on first dates. And that's why she's buying gifts for herself.
I went on a first date this morning with this guy who is visiting this tiny island that I live on in the Pacific Northwest. And he has a family thing, and he asked me if I wanted to link up after it's done. Does this mean he's trying to come over to hook up?
No ma'am, that's his way of telling you he wants you to be his wife. I'm ironic, by the way.
Dudes that will ruin your life. Any dude named Kyle. All Matts. Anyone named Chad, or anyone with a name that ends with ad. All variations of Zachary.
By the way guys, when women lists names like that, you need to understand that those were her exes. Those were all her exes who broke her heart.
And of course, we all know anyone whose name starts with J.
I'm 34 years old, and I am not ashamed of my age by any means. But I was out at the bar last night, and a guy who's maybe about not even 10 years younger than me bumps into me, and I'm looking, you know, my best. He bumps into me and says, "Excuse me, ma'am." I'd rather you just call me a whore, say "excuse me" than ma'am.
Sorry for your experience, ma'am.
Anybody else in this really weird stage of your life where you're simultaneously really, really happy being on your own and being single for once, but you also really, really want a relationship, and you love your job and really want to continue making advances in your career, but you also kind of just want to quit your job and go travel the world, and you really want to go out and socialize with your friends all the time, but you also kind of just want to stay at home every night and eat pizza and watch movies? Do we have a name for this?
Yes, ma'am. It's called being a woman. Only as a woman can you have that train of thought. Men are more logical.
When someone ghosts you right after you've asserted a boundary, the ghosting is clearly in response to the boundary. When you say, "No, I'm not coming to your house on a second date for dinner," and they ghost you, it's because you asserted a boundary. Speaking of red pill echo chamber myths, there is a misconception in that comment section that is being expressed by the men who were offended by that video. They all seem to think that women will compromise and should compromise their boundaries and standards for men that they find especially attractive, meaning that they do not believe a woman is fully interested in them unless she is compromising her standards and boundaries for him. And if that isn't the most disturbing thing I've heard all...
No, ma'am. You're confusing this. Men know that at some point you went with a guy on the first date, you went home with him, he didn't have to do anything, and now you want from another guy to take you on dates, to spend money on you, to give you all this attention when the other guy just got it for free.
I think it's an accurate depiction of a natural phenomenon. I think that women do reach a certain point in their life where their value, when I say value, I mean value in the eyes of men specifically, does decrease when they reach a certain age.
True.
In terms of fertility, obviously you're older, you're not as attractive, but also like you've had more life experience, and I think the majority of men want a woman that hasn't had a lot of life experience because they want to build that life.
When we men talk about experience in life, we talk about body count. If a woman has a lot of experience in life, you'll know she probably has a high body count.
Life with you.
Okay, so another failed date. This guy at work was like, "Hey, let's hang out after work. Let's go get drinks." I was like, "Sure." So we get to the bar, and he doesn't have his ID. So then he tries arguing with the bouncer, and he's like, "Hey, like, they know me here, they'll let me in." So we had to stand on the sidewalk while he called the manager trying to get into the bar. It was awkward. We get inside the bar. He does not have his wallet, so I pay for the drinks. I have many drinks because it was not going well. And not proud of this, but due to this many drinks, I was like, "Sure, let's go back to your place." So we get there. He keeps his keys under the mat because he doesn't want to lose them. And instead of having segs, we end up having a therapy session for both of us. Drunk therapy.
Can you see, guys, if she's attracted enough to you, it doesn't matter what you do on that date. You saw the disaster of the date she went on, and she still went home with him. Just think about it. She still went home with him.
And then I slapped him 3 times because he asked me to. Then we cuddled all night. Next morning I wake up, he hands me his phone to put my number in because we realize he doesn't have my number. And the third person texting him was another girl that I work with. I'll be needing more therapy.
Guys, I would like to rant for like 2 minutes, so all you have to do is listen, and tell me if you relate, please. So I'm a 28-year-old woman who has always been single, never had a boyfriend, never come up.
That's the age when they start realizing that the wall exists.
At the talking stage, all that kind of stuff. And TikTok has made me realise that I'm missing out on love. I'm missing out on potentially...
When you want to learn about life, you don't watch TikTok. When you watch TikTok and you say you learn something from TikTok, that means your life is a mess.
Being happy. Like, the amount of couples that pop up on my For You page, it makes me feel so good to see other people in love, but I can't see myself.
Ma'am, that's the algorithm. The algorithm knows that you're single. The algorithm knows that you like videos of couples, and of course, that's the only thing it will show you.
In their shoes, and I've never been able to see myself with someone. And it's one thing, like, when I start to feel really lonely and when I start to feel like, you get what I mean? All I'll ever hear is, oh, don't worry, your time will come. Don't worry, just be patient.
Yes, ma'am, just wait another 10 years. It will all be okay.
Guys, I'm 28.
Just sat reflecting on some of my dating fails, and I'm going to share this one with you. Also, side note, I'm very tired, so excuse the looking like shit situation. Anyway, met a guy online because...
Is she crying? Yeah, I think she's crying.
That's what happens these days. He wanted to skip the small talk online and just get straight to meeting me. He was like not messing around. He was like, right, I'm free this afternoon. Should we just meet for a drink and see if we hit it off?
Yes, men are very direct. Men want to get from point A to point B the fastest way that they can. Women don't go from point A to point B. Women go like this. And then they arrive to point B. Not in a straight line.
Just meet up. I was like, yeah, cool. I'll see you in Durham. No problem. So because we hadn't had a lot of small talk online, he had a lot of questions. We both did. You know, general stuff like, have you got kids? What do you do for work? Blah, 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 blah. So as the date progressed, I was giving him answers. And, you know, I explained, I have a child.
Oh no. That's the end. That's the end, guys. You know it. You all know it. That's the point when he ghosts her. I'm sure of it.
I told him what I did for work. He knew I had a house. Things like just really basic stuff. No exaggerating, no bragging, nothing like that. And as I'm answering these questions and just being honest about my life that he's asking me about, he then dropped his head and like had like a look of disgust on his face. So I was like, are you all right? Like, what's wrong? And he looked up at me. I still can't believe he did this. He looked up at me and he went, I just find you really intimidating.
I don't think he was intimidated. He just wanted to run away. When I see a woman that has a kid, that doesn't intimidate me at all. I just want to leave. That's all.
And I burst out laughing because I thought he was joking. I thought he was joking. And he didn't laugh. He did not laugh. And I went, oh wait. I said, you're being serious? I said, you find me intimidating? I went, do you really? He went, yeah. Yeah, he says, I find you really intimidating. Fuck. So as I was processing this piece of information, because I've never been called that in my whole life, not ever, ever, ever. I am the least intimidating person that.
Yeah, that's why I think he was lying.
I know. So I kind of said to him, I was like, right, when I realised he was being deadly serious, I went, right, well. I says, well, I'm not going to sit on a first date of all things. I says, I'm not going to sit on a first date with someone who finds me intimidating. So I said, with all respect, I'm going to leave now.
Some could argue that I'm a little too cutthroat when it comes to dating, a little too judgmental. However, I'm in my 30s. I don't have time to waste. I just wasted time on a narcissistic sociopath. And there were so many times during our talking phase that I wish I cut things off, and I didn't.
So she admits that she saw the red flags, but she didn't end it. She didn't end it, and she calls that guy a narcissist. It's always our fault, guys. Even if they ignore the red flags, it's always our fault.
Didn't, and look where that got me. So I'm just being more vigilant, and when things rub me the wrong way, I'm out. I'm having a brief conversation with this guy. I say, so tell me a little bit more about yourself. I assume that was simple instruction, to which he said, ask me whatever you would like to know. Sir, I did just ask you.
No, ma'am, you asked a vague question. He asked you directly, what do you want to know about me? Men are more direct. That's a vague question. I could write 10 pages about that. Ask me exactly what you want to know.
If you can't take that, give me a highlight reel about yourself and want me to give you more specific questions and spoon feed you, what are you bringing to a potential relationship? Because to me, it seems like you need some hand holding. This is the kind of guy that needs to be.
This is the kind of woman you should stay away from, guys. You should stay away from guys if she got mad because he answered that. Can you see how petty she is? Just because of that. Now she sees the red flags where are none. But before she didn't see, she saw the red flags, but she ignored them.
Told to brush his teeth every morning, so I'm out.